Hi guys and ladies, thanks for joining me. I was recently watching Brian's 400 subscriber giveaway that was very capably done by Mrs. BG, and then it dawned on me that I hadn't responded to her question of what 5 kits would I save. So as you can see, this is what this video is about. Now, my criteria for the kits that I would save is that I can actually get to them. For those of you who haven't seen it, I have done a video of my stash in the loft, and to be honest with you, there are some kits that I would have saved, but it would mean clearing out most of the loft to get to them. There's also a kit that I can't find. I know I've got it because it's very dear to my heart, but I can't find it at the moment. So that's not included in this list. So I shall get the 5 and we'll have a look at what I've chosen. So most of these are ship kits. I'll say that again, most of these are ship SHIP kits, and this is the first one. So it's Tamiya's 1/350 scale Bismarck. Now I know there are better kits out there. Harry Houdini, I think, has been hankering to get the Revel one, which I think he's suggesting is a better kit. But this kit was bought me 22 years ago. It was my 30th birthday present from the mother and father-in-law, and I've had it in the stash ever since. So I am determined to build this at some stage, because I would just love to have this kit on my shelf. So that's the first one. The next one, not quite so big, but just as expensive, is the Trumpeter 1/350 scale HMS Belfast. Now, Belfast is still a floating museum in London, so on the Thames, and this kit was bought me by my kids. I can't remember whether it was for my birthday or whether it was for Father's Day, but I've had this a few years as well, and I just love cruisers. I think they're so so sleek and fantastic. I mean, I count the Hood as a cruiser, although people will tell me that she was a so-and-so battleship. I can't quite remember what she was called. So yes, another one that I would add to the stash. Next one. So jumping back up in size again, RMS Titanic by Academy, 1/400 scale. I built one of these for a chap who was retiring. And what happened was the kit was given to a mate because he said he built models, and so the wife of this chap said, "Oh, will you build this for me?" And he kind of went, "Oh crap," because when he means he builds models, what he meant was he builds 1/72 tanks. So he brought it along to me and he said, "Is there any chance you could build this for me to give to this lady to give to her husband?" And that's what I did. Once I finished it, I said I would never build another one, but I got to admit, once it had been removed from my shelf, I missed it, and there is just something about the Titanic. It's obviously I would say the sad tale of the Titanic, but yeah, anyway. The intention is to build this for myself. However, I have got several other scales of the Titanic, and I will be building one of those for somebody else, because their relative was actually on the Titanic and died. He was a cabin hand or something like that. I think he was in charge of the second class cabins, and the only reason they were able to identify his body was he had the keys still on him. So so yes, I'll probably be building, I don't know whether I'll give him a 1/400 scale, I may give him a 1/700 scale, so they can put that on their shelf. So that's number 3. On to number 4. Okay, so what we have here is Merit's 1/350th scale HMS Ark Royal 1939. Now, when I was growing up as a lad, there was a programme on television. I think it was simply called Ark Royal. Rod Stewart's We Are Sailing was the theme music for it. And I think it was the last cruise or something of the Ark Royal in the 70s. I remember watching it with my dad. So that was the first time I was introduced to Ark Royal. And then, of course, getting interested in military history, I read about the Ark Royal that you're looking at now from 1939 onwards. And to be honest with you, for us Brits, even the man in the street, if you asked him to name a ship, a military ship, they would probably go HMS Ark Royal, or they'd just go Ark Royal. So when I saw this kit, okay, it's £100, but when I saw this kit, I just had to have it. It's got the photo etch in it and decals for the decking and things. So this is one of those kits that you could take away with you and build out the box because it's got all the stuff. So that's the fourth kit, and then the last kit, you will be pleased to know, is not a ship kit. Is not a ship kit. So this is Revell's 172nd B-52 Stratofortress in Vietnam period markings. Don't ask me why, there's just something about the Vietnam War that just interests me, you know, it intrigues me. Possibly it's because of the tragedy of it. You know, I don't want to get political, please, on this or anything, but it's like the fact that the American people at the time weren't behind the soldiers, and the soldiers were returning to basically a public that hated them. I just find that heartbreaking, to be honest. They were sent out there to do something by their government. They were doing their job, and they came back to that. And then, of course, there was the futility of it, fighting the guerrilla war with an enemy that they couldn't identify most of the time. So yeah, there's just something about the Vietnam War that holds my attention. And of course, with this being 1/72nd, this kit's going to be massive. It really is. I mean, I think it is the biggest box out of the lot that I've shown so far, because it's taller than the others. The others are long and narrow. This one's long and tall. So there we are. My 5 kits of choice. I hope you enjoyed the ones that I've shown and the reasoning behind them. And just thank you all for watching, and I'll catch up with you soon.